Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back. Today we are going to be playing with a new brand. Well, it's new to me. It's not a new brand, but it's new to me. I'm sure that you probably have all already heard about this brand, but it is Profusion Cosmetics. I know that this brand is available in like Walmart, I want to say, and it's super affordable, but I've never tried them out. I've seen so many people talk about it. I actually purchased all my stuff off the Profusion website. There was a huge variety. They had like everything. You could probably do an entire face with just Profusion if you go on the website. Picked up a bunch of stuff, super inexpensive. Like I think I spent like $35 and the shipping was free. So I'm very excited. This is what we're gonna play with today. If that is something you're interested in seeing, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I have opened the package, but I haven't really like taken anything out. I got a few palettes, some brushes, and some other products. I didn't even know that this company had brushes, but they were like $4 on the website. So I was like, okay, I definitely want to pick those up because one actually looks like my Morphe 506. So the first thing that I see as I take everything out, they threw in this free little 4-piece brush. I mean, how freaking sweet is that? I don't know if I'd, actually maybe I would. I don't really know. I don't know if I'd ever use these brushes, but I mean, they're free. Free little 4-piece brush set. This actually looks like a good like blush brush, even a good bronzer and contour brush. They don't have any names on them, but the two other brushes that I got were the Profusion Eyeshadow Pointed Crease ES3. And then this is the one that I thought would be the most like my Morphe M506. This is the small pointed eyeshadow brush, the ES6. Let me take it out for you guys because I think I want to use this today. I want to try to use everything that I got today. Ooh, they feel like luxurious. This might be a little bit too small to be like a dupe. I mean, it looks like a great brush, but it might be a little too small. Not as fluffy, but this looks like a great brush to do like detail work with and stuff. And then this, oh, this is a nice brush. This is the ES3, the pointed crease eyeshadow. This is a nice brush. I don't have one that looks like this. It's very fluffy, but like the diameter of it is not that big, which is good. So you have like a bit more control over where you place the product. So those are all that I got for brushes. Just because I already have quite a few brushes, I don't like to buy more than I need, but I did want to try out Profusion brushes because I didn't know that they had brushes. The next thing that I got is this thing that I'm so excited for. This is a nice orangey red cream blush. It is called Blush Hour Soft Matte Liquid Blush in the shade Paloma. It's like a little bottle, and then it's a little like sponge, I guess, that you just pop on there. It's an interesting package, that's for sure. I've never seen a package like this before, but I'm excited to try this out. This is like my kind of color, like a nice orangey fiery red. I also got a new eyeliner because my CoverGirl one has just been upsetting me recently. This is the Winged Super Fine Eyeliner in Black Noir, and I don't know if you guys can see, but like, do you see how thin in the picture the actual liner like applicator is? That was the main reason that I got it, was because it was supposed to be like this super fine eyeliner. Like, for the price that I paid for everything, the packaging is like really, like even the outside packaging is really nice. So this is just a, oh yeah. You guys see how thin this liner is? I'm excited. And then, as you can see, they like wrapped up the two palettes in like so much bubble wrap, which I'm so appreciative of. That was a bitch to get off, but I am super grateful because the two palettes that I got are like perfectly fine. So I got one highlight and contour palette, and then I got one eyeshadow palette. The highlight and contour palette I have, oh my god, I thought these were creams. I thought I accidentally got a cream palette. This is the highlight and contour palette. It looks like it's gonna be a good shade. I got it in the shade light. There are only 2 shades, which is definitely not enough, and I feel like I'm a little worried that this light one that I got isn't going to be dark enough, but we're going to try it out. We're going to see how it goes. Like I said, I got the light one. And then this Harvest palette was like, I think it was like $10, and it's so, the plastic wrap on it is like, it's sticky. Like, it's just these little luxurious things that like surprised me that this palette was so cheap and inexpensive, because like they could have just not put any plastic wrap on it. But this is the palette. It's so freaking pretty. These are like all my kinds of shades. All my kinds of shades. This one in particular, right here, this mint shade is like the whole reason that I bought it, because I want to do like a whole look around that. These are all the things that I picked up from Profusion, the online website, not anywhere in store. And that's what we're going to use today. Alright, so I did prime my eyes, I used what I always use, which is just my MAC Painterly paint pot, and we're gonna dive into this Harvest 20 shade palette. I'm very excited, but I'm also a little nervous, but we're just gonna dive in, and I'm feeling in my heart like I want to do a green eye look just because there's so many greens in here and they're so freaking pretty. Like they're all, but the thing is I don't know if I want to do an all matte or a shimmer, because like these two shimmers right here look so gorgeous. But like this color, and this color are calling my name. Yeah, I think we're gonna do a green eye look. I'm gonna start out with this profusion brush. I hope I'm not like shooting myself in the foot, but I'm gonna start out with this small pointed eyeshadow profusion brush, and I'm gonna use the darkest color in here, which is the shade Nocturnal. Right here, it's like a dark forest green, and I'm gonna focus this on the outer corner. I'm gonna blow it out. Okay, so this doesn't have as much blending ability as my Morphe 506, but I mean, so far so good. It's a little bit stiffer than I would like for what I'm doing right now. You know, there are definitely other times where I'd want a brush like this. Okay, the shadow is super pigmented, so be careful. Don't be like me. Now I'm pulling this back because I want a very lifted eye look. So I'm just packing it on and then bringing it in, and I'm taking it all the way up and out and keeping my eye open because I have a little bit of a hood to my eye, so I'm really blowing this out. And I mean, I took the smallest amount. Did you guys see how dark that is? $10 this freaking palette was. It has no right to be performing like this. I'm packing most of the shade in this outer corner right here and then using the brush to like flick it in. And everything is very buttery, but not in a way that the shadows like disappearing as I blend it. You know how some shadows do that? They're super buttery, and like because of that the pigment doesn't last. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna go in with my next shade, which is gonna be this willow color right here. This shade right here, it's like a nice sage green. This is like my favorite color on the face of the earth. This is the color that my room is. Like it's one of my favorite colors ever. And I'm gonna take my Sigma E25, which is my favorite blending brush, and I'm gonna pack it on. Okay, quite a bit of kickback. And starting in that Nocturnal shade, I'm gonna blend this in. I'm actually gonna pat it in first, and I'm gonna pull it in towards the inner corner. Oh my god, this shade is so pretty. It's like not picking it up on camera. I'm really patting it in because I feel like that's what's giving it the most pigment, and I'm blending it into the darker shade. But I am going to go in and add more of that Nocturnal just because I feel like I lost it. I actually am going to go in with my Morphe M506 just because I feel like safe when I use it, and blend it. Wow, these two are blending very, very gorgeously. Alright, so I like the way that that looks. I'm taking the Sigma brush and whatever's left over and running it through my eyebrow so that everything is a bit more diffused. And then for that inner color, I'm going to take this star of the show right here. This is the Secret Garden. Right here is what it's called. And it is so pretty. I've been so excited to try this. This is the Morphe M421 brush. It's like a flat shader brush. And I'm just going to pack this on and pray that it doesn't disappoint me. And I'm going to focus this on the inner corner. Oh yes. Oh yes. And I'm really pressing it in and then kind of like blending it out. Oh my god, this is such a pretty eye look. I love green. Green's like my favorite color ever. And none of the shades like morphed into each other. Do you know how that can sometimes happen? This is a gorgeous eye look. I'm utterly, utterly impressed. And I'm impressed that it performed this well considering how inexpensive it was. Bringing this Secret Garden shade up pretty high. I have a weird bit of like texture going on here. I don't know if that's because of my eyebrows or like because of the eyeshadow. I think it's mostly just my eyebrows. But besides that, everything looks really, really stunning. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye because I think this is where I want to leave the eye look. I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eye off camera, and then I'm gonna come back. So I'll see you in just a second. Alright, so I did finish my other eye. I am gonna try out this eyeliner. I'm super excited to see how it performs. It is super thin, which I feel like is gonna help me out a lot. I'm gonna start. Okay, it is very pigmented and it glides super easily. Now I do have to wait and see if this is gonna like make my eyes itch, because sometimes that'll happen with eyeliners. This is really good for the inner corner too. And even though it is a fine line pointer, I managed to make the liner super thick. Typical me. They're definitely not even, but you know, that's okay. It's really okay because we're gonna put lashes on anyway. So let me actually tightline too really quick. I'm gonna use my Make It Forever Artist Color Pencil in Whatever Black. So let me just do that really quick off camera because no one likes seeing that. No one likes seeing that. Alright, I did clean up the sides of my eyeshadow and pop some mascara on too, just off camera. I have a whole video talking about the tips and tricks that I use to make my eyeshadow look the best that it can possibly look. I'll have it linked up here if you guys want to check that out and see a little bit more in depth on the things that I do. But for now, we are going to move on to face. Now I'm going to start by priming with this e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, which I have been loving. I feel like it really helps my makeup last super long. And it just gives my foundation a nice sticky base to adhere to, and it doesn't irritate my skin, doesn't break my skin out, which is like a big plus for me because everything breaks my skin out. Alright, so once we have that done, we can apply some foundation. This is no surprise what I'm going to be using. This is the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation in the shade 3N and 0N. I don't know if this is going to be too dark, so I might have to add a little bit of this in here. I have two shades because I self-tan. Depending on what stage of self-tan that I'm in, I might have to use more of this or more of this, so I always grab my most tan shade and my most pale shade and use them to mix together. I'm loving this eye look though. I keep looking at it in the viewfinder and it looks so freaking good. It looks so good. The eyeshadows blended so well together. I'm not gonna mix on a tray today because I'm lazy and I don't really want to, so I'm just gonna kind of eyeball how much of each I need on my face. I'm going to start out with this darker one in 3N. And I'm going to apply a little bit and then apply a little bit of this lighter one on top and just hope that it works. I'm going to use this Real Techniques Expert Face Brush and mix these together. This is my favorite foundation ever. It's so thin, but it covers so much and it lasts so well. And it's surprising that I like it so much because there is a scent to it, and I hate when any kind of makeup or skincare has a scent to it. I think there's no point to that. But this one really doesn't bother me. I feel like it doesn't last long either. I'm not an expert when it comes to foundation and all that shade matching and stuff like that. I just always kind of eyeball and know for the best. And if I have to add more of one or the other, it's just what I end up doing. I just always like to keep in mind that I am going to be using a light concealer. So if it is a little bit too dark, I am going to be able to lighten it up with that. And there's just something about the way that this foundation photographs that makes me love it that much more. It looks like your skin but better. It is a bit pricey, so I would wait to get it until the Sephora sale goes on. Don't forget to push it into your hair so that no one knows that you're wearing any makeup. Alright, so I am going to move on to my cream products, which is just my concealer, contour, and that cream blush that we are going to try out today. I feel like might not be good with this eye look, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. We'll figure it out. But I'm gonna do some cream contouring right now. I'm gonna use the Fenty Matchstick in the shade Amber. This is a gorgeous contour shade. It's super cool tone, so if you're not into that, maybe don't check it out. But that's why I like it. It gives you a very shadow effect rather than a bronzed effect. Taking it on my Luxie 512, I'm just gonna press it into the skin ever so lightly. I don't want a very heavy contour, just want a little shadow, and I'm flicking it upwards to blend it out. You see how it gives just the smallest shadow right there? That's what I'm looking for. I don't want anything crazy. And like I said, I'm really just pressing it in and then flicking it up. Always flick it up, never down, because that'll just ruin your contour. I didn't use this for the longest time because I didn't know that the best way to apply it is going like this with a brush and then using the brush to apply it. So I never used it because I hated the way it would apply right out of the bullet, because that's how I thought you were supposed to do it. I am going to apply some concealer now. This is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. I use this all the time. It's nothing new. It's one of my favorites, and it is in the shade 215. I'm going to use my finger for all of this because I feel like it's the best way to apply this concealer. You guys can use whatever you want if you don't want to use your fingers, but I just like the way that the warmth of my hand helps the product melt into the rest of my makeup. It's such a gorgeous finish that it offers. Don't forget those inner corners. Okay, so I actually think that I'm going to use the yellow that's in here, the yellow banana powder, to set my concealer. I normally use my one size powder, but I want to try this out. I'm going to take my e.l.f. small tapered brush and I'm just gonna pack some on. A lot of kickback. Ooh. I don't hate that at all. Oh my gosh. I don't hate that at all. Bringing it down just a bit further. It does look a bit cakey, like when I get close up. So I don't know if this is enough to make me move away from my one size powder. It's definitely a pretty setting highlighting powder for under your eyes and stuff. I am just gonna take my one size one and a big fluffy brush just to set everything. I do think that I'm gonna save that liquid blush for another day. I feel like a red orange blush with this eye look would just make everything clash a little bit, so I'm gonna save it for another day. I have a bunch of other ideas that I can use and focus on that blush for, but for today I'm just gonna keep it more neutral on the face. I am actually gonna go in with another shade in this highlight and contour palette, which is this one right here. This is in the shade Tan Sculpt, and I'm gonna use this to do a bit of powder contouring, and I'm gonna take this Real Techniques contour brush ever so lightly. Follow where I did my cream contouring. I'm being very light-handed. Okay, I don't hate that. It's not really clinging to, oh, that one's a little bit, used a little bit too much on that one. Definitely use a light hand with this. I feel like it's very easy to go overboard. It's hard. I feel like this isn't like, I don't know if super fair-skinned people would use this. I feel like it's a little bit too dark for a contour. Like for anyone lighter than me, I feel like that might be like a little bit too much. I am gonna apply a bit of bronzer. This is just the NYX matte bronzer in the shade Deep Tan. It's a pretty red bronzer, which I'm okay with. If you are not, I don't really suggest it. And I'm gonna take my Morphe M530 and ever so lightly, I'm gonna bronze. Just because I want to bring a little bit of warmth back into the face, and I don't want to use the lighter shade that's in that contour palette. I want something that's a little bit more like darker and a little bit more red, I think. Because I didn't use the cream blush, I am just going to take this Essence The blush in the shade Befitting. It's like a very nice nude blush that won't take away from the eye look at all. And I'm going to take it on this. Actually, let me use one of these. I'm going to take it on this. Maybe I'll use this one. I'm going to take this angled fluffy one right here. These are from the brushes that I got from Profusion, and I'm gonna pack it on and I'm gonna place it back here. This is like the perfect size for blush application. Like the perfect angle, perfect size, perfect everything. This is like a brush, and I'm really not being shy with it when it comes to the blush. I'm just packing it on because this is a very like nude blush, so it's really not going to take away from anything. Because I'm feeling extra crazy, I'm going to take a little bit of this highlighter in here. I know I never use highlighter, but these are just really pretty and I want to try to use as many products as I can. I think I'm going to take this one right here. This is in the shade Hype. Actually, I think I'm going to take Impulse, which is this one. It's a bit lighter, so I think that one's going to work a little bit better. I'm going to take this Anastasia A23 brush ever so lightly. Okay, what? See, I don't like the way that looks, but I really wanted to try it out. I mean, the formula is really pretty. I just don't like highlighter. It doesn't work for me. I don't like the way that it looks on my skin, but that one's a very like wet looking highlighter, which I feel like you can't really go wrong with. I feel like everyone kind of likes that one and it's super in right now. All right, let's do the lower lash line before I go and do some lashes and brows. I'm gonna use this Nocturnal shade again, which is the darkest one that we used, on a like little flat shader brush. This is the Ariel A19 that he did with Morphe, and I'm gonna press this against my lower lash line, not taking it all the way in, but just like halfway in, and connecting it to the outer part right here that we winged out. Yeah, that yellow powder I don't think I like. Increasing quite a bit under this eye. All right, and then I'm gonna take a pencil brush. This is a Morphe M431, and I'm gonna take Willow, which is that sage shade that we used. This one right here. Packing that on the pencil brush and just blowing out the lower lash line. I like to bring mine really low because I have a lot of like fine lines and bags. I use a little mascara. This is the Lash Princess by Essence. And now that we are at this point, I'm gonna hop off, do lashes and brows, and I'll be right back and we can finish up this makeup look. All right, you guys, I love the way that this eye look turned out. I cannot stop looking at it in the mirror. It looks so freaking good. For eyebrows, I used the ColourPop Boss Brow Pencil in the shade Blonde and the Benefit Brow Microfilling Pen in the shade Blonde. And then I also used my favorite product ever, which is just the the Anastasia Brow Freeze. And the lashes that I used are the Molten Lashes in the shade Firecracker. Again, nothing new, what I use all the time. For lips, I'm gonna use 2 lip pencils. The first one's gonna be MAC Strip Down, which is an oldie but a goodie, and then the second one's gonna be this Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Endless Cacao. And then the lipstick I'm gonna use is this MUA Makeup Academy matte lipstick in the shade Bonafide. I'm gonna go do this real quick because I can't really talk while I'm doing my lips, but I'm gonna leave a link for a more detailed video on how I make my lips look real full and juicy, so you guys can check that out if you want to know how I do it, like with specific steps. So we are almost done with the tutorial, you guys. The final step, if you have seen any of my other videos before, you'll know what it is. It is just to bring back my little birthmark right here. So I'm going to take this one size gel liner pencil in the shade Brown and bring her back. I also, before we finish this up, I wanted to mention that I added a bit of black liner in my lower waterline just to give this a little bit more of a smoky look. I feel like it really amps up the look a little bit more. So this is the finished look, you guys. I love everything that I got from Profusion. I have not one complaint, except maybe actually the only complaint that I have is this banana shade that I used under my eyes. Made everything look a bit more chalky, but it's really nothing too crazy, nothing too bad. Everything else was so amazing. This eyeshadow palette, I mean, I definitely want to try out some of the shimmers that are in here, but the mattes that I used, I mean, amazing and so definitely worth the $10 that I spent on it. Everything else, the liner, the brushes, all the other things that I bought, the contour palette were just as good. And the crazy part is that they were all, I think they were all under like $6, like very inexpensive. Definitely check out Profusion. I'm sure that you guys probably have. I feel like I'm the last person on the face of the earth to try out this brand, but I know what I like, and I'm such a creature of habit that it's so hard for me to try and branch out and try new things. If you have not already, make sure that you are subscribed and that you hit the little bell so you are always notified when I put out a new video. And I think that is it for today's tutorial, you guys. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.